I've been wanting to talk about this episode for the last 2 years. 2 years. So I just didn't know how I was going to incorporate it. This is probably the best written episode of the series to me. I love this series. This series speaks deeply. I can relate to the character Ernest going through all the troubles of managing an independent artist. So this series deeply resonates with me. But this particular episode um, was quite telling, and this episode got them nominated for 4 Emmys. Yeah, I think the consensus is this is probably the best written episode of the series thus far. This is written by Donald Glover himself, who also played the character of Teddy Perkins, even though the character is listed as himself in the credits. But no, it was actually Donald Glover underneath the makeup. Upon seeing the character Teddy Perkins, clearly the obvious Michael Jackson reference, Sammy Sosa reference, but we'll get into that during the breakdown. So as we begin, Darius, played by Lakeith Stanfield, is at a hardware store. He buys a Southern-made Confederate flag hat and uses a red marker to block out certain letters displaying "You Mad" on the hat. He then arrives at the house to pick up the piano that was listed for free on the message board. He meets Teddy Perkins, and Darius shakes both of his hands. He offers Darius a hard-boiled ostrich egg. Darius tells him he was made aware of the piano via a message board. Teddy says rap music never grew out of its adolescence, and he asks Darius if he finds it insufficient. This is why a lot of musicians kind of look down upon rap music and really don't consider it really creative, as opposed to composing, writing music, sheet music, things of that nature. So this is why a lot of musicians kind of frown upon rap music, because they think it's pretty much lazy. Okay, Teddy's brother Benny Hope owned the piano. There's a picture of Benny, Stevie Wonder, Al Jarreau, and Keith Jarrett on the mantle. Teddy says Benny lives with him and he has a rare skin condition that prevents him from going out in sunlight. That would be photosensitivity. Okay. Teddy uses a voice recorder to remember things. Teddy then fetches the water and watches Darius through a bunch of TV monitors. Darius then walks upstairs down the hallway, taking in the famous pictures of celebrities, and then there's a picture of Benny covered up in a wheelchair. So he's sitting in a wheelchair and he's got a blanket and he's all covered up with a hood, mask, and goggles. Okay. Darius then calls Paperboy and that he really wants the piano. He says he has a two-regret pact. Two-regret pact is any regrets more than two, someone has to take him out. Darius feels Teddy is stalling, trying to keep him there longer. Darius thinks Benny created Teddy as an alter ego. Ernest then shows Paperboy what Sammy Sosa looks like, because Darius says, man, hey, this dude looks like Sammy Sosa left in the microwave too long. So Ernest shows Paperboy what Sammy Sosa looks like. Swift says he looks like a white man's penis. Oh my god. Because they're bugging out at the look of Sammy Sosa, the new look of Sammy Sosa. Darius then enters a room turned into a gift shop. Teddy then snaps his picture upon entering. Teddy shows Darius a room. Teddy then talks about his father's training regimen. He had to play piano 3 hours a day, twice a day, exams on Sunday. Failure meant physical punishment. He says they were beaten to be good at life. They were a sacrifice. Darius thinks it was unnecessary. Teddy says most people wouldn't understand. To build bridges, people have to fall. And he also says great things come from great pain. He wants a wing of the house dedicated to great fathers. His father, Joe Jackson, Marvin Gaye Sr., Tiger Woods' father, Serena Williams' father. Now let's kind of go off on a little tangent. So Joe Jackson, when Michael was little, before shows, he would tell Michael there were snipers in the rafters, and if he didn't perform good, they would shoot him dead. Okay, let's get to Marvin Gaye Sr. So I guess the word on the street, even way back then, is the reason why Marvin Gaye Sr. and Marvin Jr. got into a fight is because allegedly, Marvin Sr. discovered that Marvin Jr. Was into men. Subsequently, they fought over the gun, and then Marvin Sr. shot Marvin Jr. That's an old alleged story of why Marvin Sr. shot Marvin Jr. Let's get back to the breakdown, shall we? Okay, so then Darius tries to speed up the piano acquisition. Darius apologizes for not being able to thank him in person, meaning Benny. Then Teddy says his condition has worsened. Darius says he can imagine. Teddy screams, "No, you can't. You have no idea." So Teddy kind of breaks character and snaps at Darius. So we're like, okay, now we get a clue to add that this guy might be a little bit unhinged. Darius then enters the elevator. It takes him to the basement. He wasn't trying to go to the basement. Benny wheels out and tells him to shh. Benny writes on the chalkboard, Teddy will kill them both. And then Darius is like, well, what do you want me to do? Benny writes, he writes to him, there's a gun in the attic. So then Darius says, okay, he'll first take the piano and then he'll go get the gun in the attic. So then as Darius is trying to wheel out the piano, he's on the phone with Paperboy, and then he discovers that Teddy parked his car behind Darius's U-Haul, so he can't load the piano. Darius grabs a fire poker looking for Teddy. Teddy is watching old rehearsal footage of himself with his father. They're black. Another Michael Jackson reference. Okay, and then in the footage, Teddy he's a teen and he's crying, and his father's like, don't you, but you better not be crying during the training. Okay. Darius then asks to use the bathroom. Teddy tells him, yes, it's upstairs next to the attic. He then tells Darius, look what I found. And he says, what's that? And he points a shotgun at Darius and tells him, congratulations, he's been chosen as his sacrifice. He tells Darius to put his phone down, but keep the fire poker because he wants the home invasion to look real. He says he killed Benny because he was obsessed. Darius says there's no Benny. Teddy says exactly. So now we're thinking this was Teddy all along playing both characters. He then tells Darius to sit in a chair and put himself in handcuffs. Darius says out of great pain can come love, not sacrifices. Teddy tells Darius sacrifices are necessary. Darius then tells Teddy, I'm sorry. His dad should have said, I'm sorry. He said, your dad should have apologized to you. I'm apologizing for you on your father's behalf. But he gives him no excuse to grow up and repeat the same things. What if he grew up in love? Darius mentioned Stevie. Teddy said Stevie was blind. Darius says, but he wasn't blinded. He saw through his music. The elevator door opens up and Benny wheels out. Teddy's in shock and says, Benny, you're alive. Benny then picks up the shotgun and shoots Teddy in the chest, killing him. Benny then wheels over to Darius. He tells Darius to hand him the fire poker. Benny then places the shotgun underneath his chin and uses the fire poker to pull the trigger, and then Benny's head is blown off. Didn't see that one coming. So then Stevie Wonder's Evil begins playing. And that song, I'm not too sure if that's one of Stevie's most popular songs or more popular songs. The song Evil, it asks the question, why is evil? Why do you do what you do? Why do you blind the eyes of God's children? Why do you leave everything in disarray and chaos? It's a beautiful song. It's a hauntingly beautiful song. It's a very poignant, deep song because it legitimately asks the question, why is evil the way it is? So then the bodies are being wheeled out. As the song continues to play, Darius drives off in the U-Haul without the piano. Powerful episode. Yeah. So I've been wanting to get my mitts on this episode for the last 2 years, and now I finally got my chance to talk about it and break it down. I thought it was very poignant and very necessary. So, I hope you guys got some out of it. Y'all have a good one. Peace.